We've been reporting on the sharp decline in restaurant reservations here in the district since President Donald Trump announced his unprecedented takeover of the city's police department. And according to Open Table, dining reservations fell by more than 25% in just the last few days. This after nearly a year of steady improvement for the industry. And it all comes as restaurants are preparing for one of their biggest weeks of the year, Summer Restaurant Week. And joining us now to talk about it is Shawn, Townsend, president of the Restaurant Association of Metropolitan Washington. Shawn, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we've talked with some bar owners. They told us this past Friday was the worst ever. So what are you hearing from restaurant owners and operators right now about the drop in diners?
Yeah, I think I'm hearing some of the same from operators around the city. And, we know that it's coming at a critical moment where, Restaurant Week is one of the biggest weeks of the year for restaurants, but it's also the slowest month of the year, which is why we host Restaurant Week. And so, today's the first day of Restaurant Week, and we are asking all of our residents here in the district and throughout the region to continue to support restaurants. And I think the strongest stance that we can take as Washingtonians, as folks who live in the DMV, is supporting restaurants in this critical moment.
Well, Shawn, how significant is this setback, especially after months of steady recovery?
Yeah, we are one of the industries that have been through a lot the last couple of years. From the pandemic, we were one of the first industries to close and one of the last industries to open. And so we haven't quite caught our footing from the pandemic. It's just been challenge after challenge. And, this is just another hurdle. Our industry continues to be resilient. These folks are passionate. We are 90% independently, locally owned businesses. And so I have no doubt that in my mind that these restaurants will get through just another challenge.
Well, okay, let's talk about this, maybe predict this a little bit for us. Do you think that the drop in reservations is more about public perception of safety or this visible presence of federal officers in the National Guard?
I think it's a combination of a little bit of everything. Keep in mind, the reservations drop in August every single year, right? I think folks are traveling, the last minute trips, returning to school. And so the budgets are a little thin in August as well. And so I don't want to blame it all on, public safety or the presence of federal agents on our corners, although we do think that it's a deterrence. And I think we're feeling it because of that. But also, we see this drop in reservations every year around this time.
Okay. Has the Restaurant Association been in communication at all with local officials about the impact that you are seeing right now?
Yes, I've been, communicating with elected officials, the mayor's office and city council about this. And, we're all brainstorming and figuring out ways that we can continue to support our industry.
Restaurants have historically relied pretty heavily on immigrant workers. So how's this increased enforcement presence of ICE affected your members, both in terms of staffing and overall climate of fear it might create for employees?
We had this same, fear happen leading up to Mother's Day earlier this year, where ICE officials were making, official visits to restaurants, requesting I-9 forms and conducting I-9 audits. And there was a sense of fear amongst workers then. We know that the immigrant community is sort of the backbone of the working population in our industry. And, I think since then, we've been doing everything that we can to provide our operators and our workers with all of the tools and resources that they need in order to have these conversations with ICE officials when they enter the restaurants. And so, yes, there is a sense of fear from immigrant workers that's currently happening right now. As we saw last week, ICE officials started to pick back up on those visits to not just small businesses, but restaurants in general.
Shawn, in the last few years, we have covered a wave of restaurant closures. Owners did cite crime as one of the main issues that really surged a couple of years ago in 2023. So let me ask you, is crime still a concern among restaurant owners?
Crime is not the concern. I think we've heard the mayor say it quite a few times, and folks in the business community, crime was, a priority a couple of years ago. And I think we all have worked so hard to reduce the crime in the city, and we continue to still work on crime in the city. However, that's not the main issue. My folks are telling me that labor is the main issue, the cost of rent is the main issue. Finding good staff is an issue, but crime has fallen down the list.
Okay. Before we let you go, it is Summer Restaurant Week. What do people need to know?
People need to know that we have 380 participating restaurants, which is a record. And that tells me that, restaurants are interested in getting more butts and seats. And this is a perfect opportunity to explore new restaurants, to try out, try your favorite restaurants during Restaurant Week. Order something that you've never ordered before. It's that opportunity. And so I'm excited about Restaurant Week this year, just as I am, any other time that we can support our restaurants. So I'm asking folks to visit rwdmv.com. They can make reservations. You can see who the participating restaurants are. We've also partnered with Events DC to do something really cool for DC Jazz Festival. So looking forward to, doing my fair share of Restaurant Week visits this week.
Let's get those butts in those seats. That is the quote of the day. All right, Shawn Townsend is from the Restaurant Association of Metro Washington. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.